Family, what's going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. We got some footage of the wide receivers, the running backs, and quarterbacks in this video. That's Jeremy Bernard right there. I'll probably play it and pause it and kind of, point out some things that stand out. So let me kind of start from the jump. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had an amazing Tuesday. As I mentioned, on Monday evening, I had an opportunity to hear from Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton, and I was just blown away. That's Cole Adams right there with Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton. I mean, here's Isaiah Horton right here. Just the way that they exemplify leadership, kind of being vets. Here's Rico Suave, right? Rico Scott. And, it gives me more confidence in this room. I mean, not that I need it anymore. There's Derek Meadows right there. But just hearing these guys and, damn. That's Jalen Hill. What a great story. Look at this. He's like Velcro. But what I was getting at is I think it really gives you an idea of the room and the camaraderie of the team. Here's Lazier Brooks, who's back. He looks great. But you know what I'm saying? Like, talk is talk, but to see action put in place, and that's something that the guys were talking about. They're like, look, we understand that Florida State has been talking, but talk is talk and action is action, and we're focused on the mission in week one. So when you look to this wide receiver room, there's so many different storylines, as I like to talk about. You have Isaiah Horton right here, who came in from Miami, 6'4", 200 pounds, who I think is going to be very dangerous inside the red zone matchup situations, just anywhere, really. You have Rico Scott right here, who was clocked at 23.5 miles an hour, and that was a hell of a catch right there by Rico. You have Jalen Hill coming in, and the injury that he overcame, he said today early in the morning, was just like, thank you, everybody, for the blessings, right? And because it's been a long road for him. This was a guy that probably was close to, probably never walking properly. That's why I continue to point out, like, the Bama Sports and Science Center. And when we look at other injuries, I know, Jam Miller is certainly a hot topic, and rightfully so, but they can get you up to speed a lot faster than, like, if you or I were to get injured. That's just facts. And they have a lot of resources here, and they have the experience with Jeff Allen. So, when there are injuries, there's probably not a better place to be in the country than with Jeff Allen. That's just fact. I mean, 18 years says a lot. Glad to see Lazier Brooks back, and how are they going to utilize him? I don't know. It's exciting to think about kind of the possibilities of him as a slot type wide receiver. I remember Courtney Morgan said that he just does something different with his hands. Cole Adams made some really good plays during, was it that second scrimmage? I think it was the first scrimmage, right? And, Isaiah Horton last night, if you caught my video or my live, rather, from this morning, something that Isaiah Horton said, he was like, look, I'm a nobody in terms of being here. And one of the ladies who was in the stands, there was 500 people there probably last night at this Merrill Lynch event that I went to. I talk about it in my Tuesday live. And she was like, no, I was at the scrimmage. She was like, you are somebody. You are incredibly talented. So there's Ryan Williams here in the back. But, I mean, you have the big three, Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, and Ryan Williams, and, of course, some other guys who are certainly capable to do a lot for Alabama, and I think they will do a lot when given opportunity. So a very deep room, one of the best, probably, and look, this isn't a gas up, probably one of the more talented wide receiver rooms that we've had here maybe since 2020, 2021. I have to think about it. Here's the Alabama running backs, and this is kind of a look without Jam Miller. Now, the first two running backs that you saw in that frame, number 20, that is Draylon Washington, and then you have Kevin Riley. I think that the order, kind of the pecking order, and that's A.K. Deer, that Alabama is rolling with right now probably looks like this. You'll see it here at the top after you get a couple other guys running through, but it's going to be Richard Young. He'll be the first guy to get opportunities. Here he is right here. And then you're going to have Daniel Hill. I don't know how big Daniel Hill is. I mean, he looks massive, right? We've kind of talked about that frequently on the show, and how will Alabama utilize him. That's Draylon Washington. He's a transfer that has 1,300 yards all total within his career. He's a senior. He's got a lot of experience. That's Kevin Riley. Coach Kalen DeBoer said he has a lot of shake to him. And then you have A.K. Deer. So, Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton last night at the speaking engagement, they were asked, how do you feel about the running back room? And they started not by talking about the running backs, rather they started talking about the coach and Robert Gillespie. And they were like, look, Robert Gillespie has done an amazing job with these guys. And every single guy within the running back room is prepared for the moment, right? We all know these guys can run the football. Are you kidding me? I think the thing is that we just haven't seen yet, because there's not a lot of experience within the room, is how are these guys going to fare in like pass protection, catching the football out of the backfield, which is clearly a prerequisite to play here. But you know what I'm saying? Like, when the bullets start flying, we'll know what these guys are capable of, but they wouldn't be at Bama if they weren't capable. So it's kind of just, it's inexperienced outside of Jalen Washington, but guys did play last year. I mean, Richard Young made some several nice plays last year against, was it Missouri, right? And, Daniel Hill scored a touchdown against Western Kentucky. So the guys are ready for the opportunities. They're prepared for the moment. More footage of the wide receivers right here. Who do you think, honestly, do you think Alabama has, I guess, it probably goes without saying, you probably think that they have 2,000-yard wide receivers, right? I'm thinking Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams probably each catch for 1,000, and maybe Isaiah Horton's floating around like 700, something like that. I mean, is that kind of the volume you're thinking? Rico Scott, maybe 400. Jalen Hill, maybe 300. I don't know. I'm kind of playing with the numbers because I've kind of set the baseline for Ty Simpson this season. You're looking at the quarterbacks clearly. Nice pass right there, Austin. At 3,500 yards. You think that's safe to say for the quarterbacks? For the quarterback, rather, 3,500 yards. You're going to go for over. I would be shocked if Alabama doesn't throw, like the starter doesn't throw for over 3,000 yards this season. Like that would really be surprising to me. And I think the biggest reason is because of this man, Ryan Grubb. And I know he spoke to the media on Tuesday, and we'll play that during our Wednesday live show and kind of pause and react to what Ryan Grubb had to say. But I'll say this once again, Alabama's offensive coordinator room has been disserviced since 2020. I know that's a strong take, but I think it's an agreeable take because the guys that came after Steve Sarkisian, I don't think that either schematically they did a good job or they just didn't have the experience to really kind of drive the Bugatti that Alabama's offense is. So curious to see how Ryan Grubb fares. I think will be a really big catalyst to why Alabama fares so much better this year in 2025. And just, look, the guys, they have guys. It's going to come down to the offensive line. It's going to come down to special teams, right? You got to tighten up in that area, and that was something that Coach Kalen DeBoer brought up at that second scrimmage. But looking at the wide receiver footage and the running back footage, I know it's only offense today. You're on the right track clearly. There's playmakers, and it's almost that time for Alabama and Florida State. I can't wait. I'm super excited about this matchup. It's still 13.5 right now that Alabama is favored by. Are you taking Alabama by 2 touchdowns? I appreciate you guys being here, or during my lives, or when I see you guys, in the streets, say what's up to me. I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. Stay where your feet are at. When news happens, think Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Tuesday, August 19th, just days away from the college football opener between Alabama and Florida State. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam.